Hello again, and welcome once more to our teaching on understanding toxic relationships. Today, we are looking at part 2, which is entitled Signs of a Toxic Relationship. There are red flags in relationships, and these relationships can be friendships, family relationship, romantic relationship, and there is also emotional, spiritual, and psychological effects of toxicity. Our anchor verse would be from Proverbs chapter 16, verse 28. Proverbs 16:28, which says, "A perverse person stirs up conflict, and a gossip separates close friends." What our attention should be drawn to is the word conflict and the word perverse. And perverse here would be referring to being toxic. And toxicity definitely leads to conflict, etc. Toxic relationships are marked by manipulation, control, excessive criticism, bitterness, negativity, a show of superiority or inferiority complex, hypocrisy, excessive pessimism, and lack of respect. Such relationships can be found everywhere, and they can exist in families, between friends, at the workplace, or even in marriages. Recognizing the signs helps you make godly choices. Let me give you a practical example of a scenario. John's business partner constantly blamed him for every mistake. He took credit for his ideas and he manipulated situations. John realized he was in an unhealthy business relationship and he needed to set boundaries. Do you find yourself in a situation where there is that kind of manipulation, where there's unhealthy relating with a way of relating with one another, where there is constant spillover of bitterness in the words we talk with somebody or with the person you are relating with, and it's constantly from an end of bitterness that they speak with you, or they see problems with everything, they criticize negatively, continually, perpetually, like 8 on 10, it is negative. Then you watch out, because that may be a red flag concerning a toxicity in a relationship. I'll leave you with these few questions of reflections. What are some red flags you've ignored in past relationships? Number 2, how does a toxic relationship affect your spiritual, emotional, and mental health? Because you need to look at that. The reason why we call it toxic is because it has an effect on you. Either your spiritual relationship, your emotional relationship, or your emotional health, or your mental health. Because that's why we call it toxic. The effect it has on you is not positive, it's negative. Now, the third reflection question will be, have you ever confronted toxicity in someone, and how did it go? Because when since there are people we relate with all the time, definitely they rub off on us or they scratch us with their toxicity. How do you confront it? Or how have you dealt with it so far? And if you did, how did it go? Those are the thoughts that I will leave with you. And do with them as you please, but certainly examine yourself and examine your relationships. And we'll go from there next time. Bye bye.